Free seed starting containers. That's right. Now I hope you didn't come here because you saw the link and you saw the word free and you were thinking that I was going to give everybody seed starting containers. Although I would love to do that, but until I win the lottery, that just can't happen. However, I'm gonna show you how to score your own. Now people that know me that come here to my place, they know that I'm not a big fan of the trays that people buy, and you know, the little cell packs, and you drop the cell pack in a bigger tray and then you water them and then you put your dome on top and you stick it under the lights. And I think that, you know, they're kind of cool looking because you got all your plants in one area. And if you're growing a ton of plants and you don't have the space, then I can understand where those would come in handy. But I think the problem is that, I mean, the stores are selling those, you know, hand over fist. They're this time of year you go to the hardware store. I was at the hardware store a couple days ago. I saw all kinds of people buying those. They're starting their seeds. Yay, yay. See, the purpose of my channel is to show people that gardening is not expensive. It doesn't take expensive equipment. It doesn't take a lot of money, and I like to keep it simple. Now, even though I grow, this year I'll be starting probably about 150 tomato plants, plus a ton of peppers and all kinds of things. And I don't use those starts. Now, I will tell you that I have a fairly large greenhouse. And, well, okay, all right. People that have greenhouses, like especially the commercial ones, they're probably going to say that I don't have a fairly large greenhouse. But it's not one of those little 6x8 greenhouses. So, I mean, you know, so it's the next size up. It's a 10x12. So it's 120 square feet. And believe it or not, I can start, you know, hundreds and hundreds of plants in that greenhouse. So if you don't have that available, then I understand if you're starting them in those little trays, then you need to you know, have a spot to put them in. So of course putting, you know, 48 of them on a shelf is going to be advantageous for you. But the problem is with those trays is that you've got a small window of opportunity, because when they start to outgrow those little cells, you have got to find a spot for them. You have got to get them in the ground. Otherwise, you're going to be putting all those into bigger pots, and you're going to have 48 pots laying around. So that's why I'm not a fan of those. I think they create more stress, and they're more trouble than they're worth. Now, what do I mean by free seed starting containers? Well, in our house, we eat a lot of yogurt. And, you know, like this here, this is like the 6 ounce or 8 ounce yogurt cup. And we go through, you know, just a few of these a week. But if you save these, let's say that you eat 4 of these. We've got 4 people in our family. Even if we only ate 1 yogurt a week, you know, that's 200 of these that I would have every year. So 200 seed starting containers. Okay? Now, if you don't eat yogurt, well, we also have the larger one, which is the 32 ounce, and we've got a bunch of these. And this one's nice because your plant can grow quite a bit larger. You can actually start your seeds in here, start it a little bit lower, and then as especially tomatoes start to grow up, you can put a little more dirt in there and they get a little bit stockier. You can have a good, you know, 8-week or so plant in here, maybe even 10 weeks or so. So, I mean, there's a couple options right there. Now, in town here, we have those drive-through coffee shops where you can stop and get a coffee or a smoothie. And they make perfect seed starting containers. They're clear, they're plastic, you can reuse them over and over again. I took my daughter to college. You know, she drives to college every day. And my truck was being worked on, and I drove her so I could use her car for the day. And I noticed all these kids going into school with smoothies and coffee like crazy. And I thought, you know, I would love to be sitting here when they come out, just to see what they do. I could almost guarantee that most of them wouldn't have their containers. They probably just took them and pitched them in the trash. And I want to encourage people to to put feelers out there and tell people. You know, I tell my friends and and whatnot that if you eat yogurt, if you drink smoothies, I want your cups. And I'm almost going to guarantee. I won't say guarantee because people always, when I say something, I guarantee something or I'm positive about something, and I'm not right. People always call me on that, so I'm not going to say that. But I'm almost positive that if you tell your friends and your family, I want all of your yogurt cups, I want all your smoothie cups, put it on Facebook. And I will almost guarantee you, I mean, within a couple months, with me, when I did that, within a couple months, I've got boxes and boxes of smoothie cups and yogurt cups. It's incredible how many I have. I mean, I'm overwhelmed. I've got boxes in the garage. I've got some in the greenhouse. I even had to like say, okay, I have enough for now. But the sad thing about this is that I know a lot of these are getting pitched in the trash. So why are we going down and buying cell trays and whatnot and not actually doing something? So I believe I'm doing something, at least doing my part, because if they're going to pitch these, I might as well take them. And then if I don't use them and if I get too many, I can always just put those in the recycle bin, because I go down to the recycle every couple weeks and dump it. So I basically am doing my part by saying I'm going to recycle this for you, because what I do with this is I use these and I use them and I use them over and over and over again until sometimes they start to get weak and they get a split in the side or whatever. And then, okay, yeah, it's time. I throw it into the recycle bin. So we're not wasting. I mean, we're reusing and we're recycling. So now, one beauty about this too is that if you think that the convenience of those trays is that I can throw a dome on it, well, guess what? Smoothies always come with a lid. Greenhouse. Perfect miniature greenhouse right there. So there's no excuse for not using things like that. Now, like I said before, space. Space is the important thing. I understand if you need to start 48 tomato plants and you need the space. But I don't think most people do. I think most people are growing a few tomato plants. But even me. I mean, I'm growing, I'll have hundreds and hundreds of starts, and none of them are going to be in those. So I want to encourage you guys to start, recycling a lot of that stuff and have people give you free seed starting containers. Also, let me show you this. Now, did you guys watch my video about starting strawberry seeds? And you'll notice I had that container from Croissants where it's like a little mini greenhouse, and you plant your seeds and you close it up and you've got a little mini greenhouse. It worked perfectly. It worked perfectly. Well, let me show you this. Does anybody know what this is? You're right. A guy went down to the grocery store and he bought a sandwich in this piece of junk. Now, this really baffles me, because I can just imagine their thinking behind this. If I put a sandwich in this, people will buy it because they can see their sandwich, and it we have a deli that I like to go to sometimes, and they take the sandwiches and they wrap them in freezer paper and they write on with a Sharpie what it is with the ingredient list. I'm perfectly happy. I don't need to see my sandwich. However, I asked the guy, I said, hey, you're done with that. Can I have that? Or are you going to use it? He says, no, I was just going to throw it away. It makes me wonder. Now, I don't want to start this kind of a environmental, kind of political, or philosophical, argument about, green and, recycle and all this stuff like that. I think we're smart enough. I think that even the people that will take these and go down and buy a sandwich every day and toss this in the trash every day, they know that recycling is smart and throwing this away is not smart. I think the problem is they just don't give a crap. That's what I think. And so look at this thing. It's perfect. It's a perfect little mini greenhouse. So the same notion goes on here, that when this thing is trashed and this lid starts to break off or whatever, I'll use this for 3 or 4 winters. Or summers. And when it's time, recycle. It goes right into the recycle bin. But I have a perfect mini greenhouse. Now, I understand that this differs a little bit from those cell packs, because heaven forbid that I'm going to have to separate my seedlings with a little a spade or something. But I mean, really, there's no difference between this and those cell packs. And you can put in the same area, you can put the same amount of seedlings in this that you can in those cell packs. Why would you go down and buy those cell packs? You know, encourage people to give you their stuff so that you can, you can start recycling and start reusing this stuff. And gardening is not expensive. Gardening shouldn't have to be expensive. So I wanted to get your guys' opinion on that. I mean, I'd like to get your feedback and see what you guys are using for seed starting. Don't post pictures or videos of your cell packs, because I mean that's kind of it's not really a touchy subject, because I understand why people do it, but I'm here to tell you that, in my 30-some years of gardening, it's not necessary. It's never been necessary. Even if you live in an apartment. Because, well, in an apartment you're not going to use those because they're not going to go from there to a garden. So that's a useless point. But anyways, you understand what I'm trying to say. I'd like to get your guys' feedback. But people that know me know that I also use a lot of those little clear little drinking cups, little 8-ounce drinking cups. And years ago I scored bags and bags of those. It was an estate sale or something, I can't remember. So I've got hundreds and hundreds of those, and I love to use those. I reuse them, and then I recycle them if they start to break. So I just wanted to throw that out there to you guys and get your feedback. So all right, well, there's my rant, another rant that I have. But yeah, reuse, recycle. Don't buy cell trays. Don't buy that stuff. It's unnecessary. Gardening is cheap. It's really cheap. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. We'll catch you all later. Be sure to stop over to growyourheirlooms.com, where we have podcasts, gardening Q&A, tips on year-round gardening, survival gardening, and current projects that are going on.